Baker has to defend this contact very nearly. He's just to the outside line. He breaks so much later. Masker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
No back into the fence. They're still beating and banging. And to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Welcome in, everybody. Adam Glatpelter here with Steven Kernick. Steven, how we doing tonight?
Absolutely great, and considering we're here at Watkins, Glen, for some more exciting racing, our Pony Express GT3, and, well, knowing that the championship is right at its end. This is round 9 of Season 2, and we're in for an exciting one because Watkins Glen is a 5.5 kilometer circuit that will challenge rhythm, pace, slipstreaming, and who is brave enough to survive it all. And tonight we also have got the legendary inner loop to go and help out our drivers to get that one extra edge into moving up the order. Opened in 1956. Well, this circuit has seen everything from NASCAR to open wheel racing and rounding off on endurance racing. Watkins Glen, I've got to say, it's my personal favorite circuit, but it's one that you got to be so careful for because turn 1 doesn't get its nickname Go Bowling for nothing.
Yeah, that's right. But you know what? There's not just one corner here. There's 11. I love the boot and the heel and all that stuff going down through there. And they don't have the what is that? The chicane tonight. It goes straight on through and then a little roundabout through the carousel. So it's going to be an awesome, awesome race.
Now, it's going to be an exciting one with qualifying underway for our drivers. We also got to talk about the championship because it is getting rather heated out there. For our GTT Bro, it is Terry Cargo out in the top spot. It's 2,020 points. Then we got Ryan Tyler with 2,000 points. Nick Tyrrell holds on to 3rd place, not too far from the top. Paul Skip, Alexander Velasco, Sean Adams, Jason Brothers, and Jordan Branch rounding out the field for our GTD Pro class.
And for the GT class, we've got Brad McCombs sitting at 1880, and then just 10 points back, you're going to find James Foreman. Justin Targano is just a few points, well, quite a bit back from that. Looks like 140 points back. And then you've got Joshua Susi, Steve Maynard, Troy Banks in 6th with Brandon Dittmer in 7th, and Daniel Barnett rounding out 8th place.
It's been an incredible season thus far, but we still now got to get to the end, and every driver's looking to capitalize on their points and really show what they can do. Now, Watkins Glen is a little bit different to the previous round, a little bit smaller and also a lot more fast flowing. Drivers were concerned about trying to keep the tires alive, trying to keep the fueling right to the end. And so far, it's going to be a hard charge to do so. And a big shout out to all our sponsors here at Pony Express GT3. Now, currently out for qualifying, Paul Skip holds the top of the chart with Keith Roycroft in second place. Russell Abram holds on to third. Wes Emmerich holding on to fourth place. And rounding out top five, Ren Butter Jr. coming in for a bit of play time as well. So Butter, new to the grid, going and showing what he can do, as our pros and AMs are going to be fighting it out. So far, Skip showing he is top of the board, beating out Roycroft. And trying to take a look, Ryan Tyler down into 7th position, one of our championship fighters, now just sitting a little bit lower than planned. So he's really going to have to try and dial up that pace. Terry Calgore Jr. not able to put a time on the board as yet. The Porsche 911 is sitting out an end of line. So this is going to be an interesting call to see who can stay at the top. But for Paul Skip, Keith Roycroft, Russell Abram, Wes Emmerich, Adrian Fernandez, Reen Barder Jr., Gerard Lowry going and holding on to 7th position. Ryan Tyler in 8th. Now, we got to also talk about a refueling issue that came into play, and Ryan Tyler got caught out on the last race. And that's going to be definitely sitting in the back of his mind of, okay, I've got to get my pit stops right so I'm not to be stopped out on circuit, and really don't feel like getting in the AA truck to come and tow me back to the pits. So this is going to be an interesting call, an interesting bit of fun. However, Paul Skip on the top, well, he's going to have his hands full with Keith Roycroft, that's for certain.
Yeah, you've got some faster guys sitting back here, Steve, that looks like are not even going to get a qualifying run in, and they've got a ton of ground to make up back here. You've got Torres, Susie, sitting back here in 13th place. That's a lot of ground to make up. These guys up front, they mean business. So that's a lot of field to get through.
Now, the end of line has definitely opened up the championship a bit and gives a lot of drivers who are at the sharp end of the field an opportunity to try and fight their way through the field. There's no easy way of getting a win here. If you want to be out in first, great stuff. If you finish first, even better, but you will land up with an end-of-line penalty for success, which sets you at the back of the field, you to go charging through, and makes life rather interesting. So it's always great to see drivers going that extra little bit of mile, but now the conditions come down to, you had the pace the last time, can you replicate that pace coming into Watkins Glen, a circuit that does look rather simple on paper, but the undulations, the changes in camber, all go and play its part to follow the leader a little bit longer. It's wide enough that you can get those overtakes done and dusted, but it's also fast enough that if you put 1 foot wrong, the barriers are extremely close and will be unforgiving as you go piling into them. I do want to point out that we're heading towards the end of our championship for Season 2, and they've already started putting things out for Season 3. And man, oh man, it's going to be looking like an exciting time for Season 3, so don't go anywhere. And if you're enjoying the racing, head over to the Pony Express GT3 Discord down in the description and get racing with us, because there is tons and tons of new tracks coming up, selected by the drivers, well worth being a part of this amazing series.
Absolutely, a lot of heavy competitors here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they've got going on here in Season 3. I guarantee there's going to be some new tracks, new faces, new challengers trying to take as Susie hard the wall there, new challengers trying to take some championships hopes away from some of these older hats. But I made a mistake here early on when I said that they did not have the chicane. It is in here. They're not running straight past it into the carousel. They're going to run the chicane as well.
Yeah, it's going to be in quick right, quick left, and try and get yourself sorted. And, well, here we go. Lowry. This is Devin Lowry going and trying it out in reverse. See if he can make it work. one way to put a bit of pressure on the diff and the reverse gear and the transmission, but is trying to see if he can get it done with just a little bit of effort. We don't often get to see it, but now, Devin Lowry, let's see what you can do in the reverse gear with 50 seconds to go on your qualifying. Running wide, gets it onto the racing line, slings it through the boot, running out a little bit wide. Oh, trying to bring the car back. It's a little unsettled, but he's able to get it done and dust it. Beautifully done through the inner loop, and now around the long right hand of the car, wanting to snap back onto its own. He's holding a very, very good pace at the moment, trying to get a little bit more rhythm. Down the hill he goes. All reverse, that's it. It's an ultimate French-German car at the moment. Devin Lowry pushing harder, runs out wide to the fringes, keeping it clean. Really trying to give it that one big push down to the wire. Can he get it right? How far can he get in reverse? Swings it through the long left-hander, or long right-hander, now makes his way up the hill, heading towards the crest, and just didn't make the crest there. Would have been fun to see what he could do out in reverse gear. But man, oh man, he tried his luck. He really did try his luck. With that being said, let's take a look to the grid, because our drivers are at the ready to go and have some fun. And man, oh man, I am ready for this, Adam. It's going to be Paul Skip out in first place with Keith Roycroft in second, followed by Russell Abram, Wes Amrick in P4. Adrian Fernandez, followed by Amredi Bada, holding on to that P6 in the Porsche. Gerard Lowry in P7 with Ryan Tyler in P8, looking to get back onto that front row. Ryan Jevin and Stephen Charsley rounding out our top 10.
In row 6, you're going to find Dan Barnett with Joshua Susi. In row 7, Christopher Torres and Nick Terrell. Row 8, Alex Velasco with Jason Brothers. In row 9, Terry Calker Jr. with James Foreman. And rounding out your row 10, Steve Manor with Devin Lowry. Yeah, that's going to be it.
It's going to be an incredible, incredible race. But the question comes down, who has got the pace at the top? Paul Skip going to be leading out the first time out this season, with Keith Roycroft lining up on the front row that usually doesn't mix. Now going to seeing what they can do. Abraham running in third place as the GT3 AM class are incredibly close to one another, but do not count out Wes Amrick in that Mustang. He has proven to be an extremely quick car. Adelaide did not work out for him. Slowly but surely, Wes is one to keep an eye out for. When it is all put together, the car is a monster. The driver goes and drives the wheels off that car, and he's able to fight out at the sharp end in the field. But they're going to have to go and defend from everyone at the back. So this is going to be a bit of a wild moment, as drivers will have got a short formation lap with these fixed setups to try and generate as much heat into the brakes, as much heat into the cars, into the tires, and also to try and get your head in the game. Lights off on our Porsche safety car for iRacing, one of the oldest of our safety cars here on the iRacing service. Going to be ducking down into pit lane. It's going to be an hour's worth of racing with a mandatory pit stop coming into play, and the driver's going to see how far can they get it going as we get ready for the lights. Lights on, lights off, and away we go racing, as drivers now trying to filter in and see where they can go. Paul Skip having a phenomenal launch off the line. Holds back the likes of Abraham in second place. Fernandez falling a little bit further down, and we've got contact in the back. One of our BMWs, and that looks to be Roycroft going into the wall. Black flag for Alex Velasco, also not having his way. Keith Roycroft got caught into the wall. Not what he wanted to have. Will be either trying to get himself sorted and back onto the track, or going to be towed out. Paul Skip under some serious pressures. Abraham, and he has got Fernandez trying to close up, but it's the Chev trying to stretch his legs early on into this race. Fernandez now needing to take a look up and sees Abraham ahead of him and saying, right, what do I need to do? Looks towards the center, couldn't quite get it done. BMW just not warmed up as yet as tires, but the Porsche is going to be an incredibly quick one. Lowry and Emmerich right behind in the Mustangs, as we do see Emmerich down the inside, try to get the pass done. Gerald Lowry forced out wide, and it's going to be a big run for Wes Emmerich. He wants a little bit of Red Bull with his Happy Meal, and it's going to now go and bring in Charles Lee in the Porsche, the 8-bit Porsche, now trying to get in fights with both of them. And Stephen Chelsea, beautifully done to slot himself in between. And it looks like a bit of a problem coming in as Lowry loses yet another position, as he's got Tyler moving his way up through the order. So this is going to be a great one. Gerard Lowry not quite on the drive he wanted to have. Butters ahead of him. He has got Tyler right on the back of him, slowly but surely starting to filter back after a great start. But Ryan Tyler looking for a quick push up the line. Adam, I mean, this has been an incredible start of the race, and so far, unfortunately, Roycroft out of the running.
Yeah, not good for Roycroft at all. But I know we were talking about earlier on in the show about it being a following track. I don't believe that's the case at all. These guys are shuffling for positions. I mean, check out Terry Calgar right here. Already up 8 spots from where he started, up into the 9th position, and looking to try to make another one here as he's coming up on the Mercedes here.
Terry Calgar Jr., leader of the championship, not by much, 20 points. And now trying to make it count. He is all over the back of Ryan Tyler, trying to see if he can just give it that extra little bit of pepper and see if he can get a bit closer. The Mercedes extremely well coming in and out of corners. The Porsche is built for corners, so the long sweeps definitely help out the 992.2. And now having to try and fight out against the AMG GT3 Evo spec car, and soon to be dropped out as the older car, as AMG is working on a newer GT3 car. But absolutely monstrous. Ryan Tyler having to get his elbows out. These two have shared the track throughout the season. They know what they need to do to try and keep each other at bay. The question is, are they going to work with one another to try and catch up to Lowry, Butter, Chelsea, Emmerich, Fernandez, Abraham, and Skip, who are just within arm's reach to them? And you got to remember, if they start brawling out between one another, you got Yavin and Torres, who will close up at a rate of knots, as we do see Butter managing to get past Chelsea. And here comes Ryan, who takes the dive as well, seeing if he can get past Ryan, and he's done it. So Tyler losing out to Calgar. So that is a big pass for him. Terry Calgar Jr. losing a little bit of time out there. Gets round Ryan Tyler and now pulls him along as they find it out. So far, it is a great run for Skip for the GTD Pro, but he is under some serious pressure from Abraham and Fernandez, who are leading out the GTD AM class, with Wes Emmerich holding on for 4th place, 2nd in the GTD Pro class. Chelsea is running 3rd in the GTD Pro class, but take a look at how close they all are to one another, and we've just started this race. And not to take away the crucial pit stop that may be coming in a little bit later, that you got to really start planning out for.
You know, Steve, I don't think these tires they're just about heated up now, as they're coming up on the 3rd lap right now. You know, it takes a little bit of time, especially in these Corvettes and a lot of these other mid-engine cars, to get kind of that heat all the way around on all 4s. So I think the time's going to speed up here a little bit more, as they're only running 145s.
Now the tires pick up, especially with the temperature of the circuit at the moment. You're going to be looking at only picking up about lap 3, lap 3.5 really to get it done and dusted. But then you also don't want to go and over cook it on the tires. You don't want to push way too hard, let that drop off come in. We've seen a lot of drivers opt to go and say, I'm not going to put a new set of boots on, I'm going to just run a full tank, get ourselves up and going and carry on with the race. And that has been a crucial point for the championship and has been a major player. But as we do see Paul Skip out in front, he is making a little bit of headway to one of our first back markers, and that's going to be Alex Velasco, who's had a nightmare of a drive. He's got the likes of Abraham and Fernandez all chasing in suit that want to try and close up the gap. And there is Alex Velasco, started in 15th, down to 19th. Unfortunately, a drive-through penalty going in, costing him a bit of time, just being out of position. Served it, and now it's just circulating for a little bit of points, but we'll be keeping an eye on the relative, listening to the crew chief saying, listen, leader's coming up on you. He's not your fight. You need to keep on your fight, keep going. Keith Roycroft, unfortunately, out of the race, and it looks like he is out for a long time. And we do have a meatball flag for Christopher Torres going and popping up. So Christopher Torres further up the road, unfortunately, gets himself in a bit of a sticky wicket, managing to try and get that car rolling, but will be visiting pit lane. Not what the Argentinian driver wanted to have. And that is a big blow for Christopher Torres, but it is going to help out Dan Bonnet and Alex Velasco to close up at a rate of 9. You can see that front left just bouncing all over the show. That front suspension just nowhere to be seen. And big run for Dan Bonnet, who's more than happy to grab yet another position here. So there's still mistakes early on. We expect to see quite a few of them coming through.
I think some of these guys back here in the back, like Nick Terrell, Stephen Manor, and Joshua Susi, I don't believe they're going to take tires here under the mandatory pit stop just because of track position. Now, they do have some really good lap times going on here. Oh, as Dan Barnett now, something happened to him. Oh, he's got major damage here on the right front of his Porsche, as Torres does as well. But some of these guys, like I was saying, some of these guys back here, I don't think they're going to be pitting for tires, just fuel only, to try to gain some of these spots here, since they had really bad qualifying times. But Terry Calger continues to move up through the field, up to 6th. Up 11 spots, as Adrian Fernandez just kind of floating around in the 3rd position, with Wes Emmerich trying to close in slowly but surely. That Mustang looking really good this afternoon, but Badia Jr. in the Porsche looking fantastic as well. Really good pace, but you got this cat right here in the 911. Calger, he is the apex predator tonight, trying to get it done as he closes on Badia Jr. right now.
And Terry Calger Jr. has proven to be a formidable foe for many, but now he's starting to catch up to drivers that will go and give a little bit more elbows out racing to deal with, such as Rene Badia Jr. Going to be a tough cookie out there. The Camel tribute livery out on that Porsche for the Camel GT series. It's wonderful to go and see just some interesting colors coming into play. But for Terry Calgo Jr., it's all about trying to get on the power as early as you can, try and close up. And you brought up, not quite sure who is going to be putting on a new set of boots during the race. And there is 2 ways to it. If you don't put a new set of boots on, you still have a lot of heat build up in the tires. Means less time out, losing out on your first lap. Always works. It's fantastic. But you've got to protect your tires long enough in this race to ensure to make it happen. So if you're like Paul Skip, going at 120 plus, and you are nailing best lap the whole time, those tires are eventually going to start crying out and saying, well, now I've got a problem here, guys. Can't keep doing this. I will start running out of steam. So Paul Skip holding on, sits with a 144.0 as his fastest lap of the race and the fastest lap for everyone. Christopher Torres needing to serve a drive-through as well. So we're starting to see early stages, a couple of competitors making some mistakes. Very easy to do here, as track limits can be quite abrasive. But at the moment, Skip for the GTD Pro on a solid charge. His only concerns is Amric and Calgo, who run so far in 4th and 5th place for position. But we can't forget about the ongoing fight for the lead of GTD Am. Fernandez having a go at Abraham. Now, Adrian Fernandez trying to keep it all together in the BMW, looking to hold the racing line. It's going to be Wes Amric down the inside, gets that pass done and dusted. Wes Amric having a stellar run, got the pass, and it's going to be Fernandez coming back at him, trying to see if he can get round. Unfortunately not, and that's next up going to have Calgo Jr. going right at him. Calgo Jr. not going to be waiting up too much, but slowly but surely, that's allowing Butter to get back into the attack as well. So for Abraham out in second, he keeps a very close eye on Fernandez and Butter, who are not too far away from him, and also are in a little bit of a fight as well. You've got to have the eyes on the back of your head to ensure you can score well, and also to stay at the sharp end of the field. I mean, this is all about being track aware, track knowledge coming into the place. Chelsea finding out David Lowry, who is in a monstrous fight. The Happy Meal taking on the 8-bit stylings of Stephen Chelsea's car. And so far, Stephen has been on a gradual climb up race after race after race. He's looking to really capitalize here at Watkins Glen circuit. They says he thoroughly enjoys that, but now needs to just try and keep the car all together, not having the Porsche snap coming out of anywhere. And unfortunately, when you've got a big burly Ford Mustang GT3 breathing down your neck, and not to count out Ryan Tyler a little bit further back, and also Javine, who is on his tail as well. It's close, and one critical mistake, one slide out, will have you going from the top of the train all the way to the back.
Steve, before the show started, we were talking about how good this league really was, and you said, man, it's going to be battles from the front of the pack to the back of the pack, and you were not joking, were you? A lot of contention for positions here, as we're seeing Charsley and Lowry now still battling. That Ford Mustang still trying to barrel down. He is in the draft, though. I don't know if he's going to be able to make the pass happen. But we've got another battle going on right here between Terry Calger and Fernandez. Calger able to get around Fernandez. So Calger now up into the 4th position, up 13 spots from where he started. Man, what an incredible run he's having tonight.
Now, Terry Calgo Jr., quite a quick driver to get himself towards the sharp end of the field. I do think once the pit stops come into play, we'll start seeing where everyone shuffles into place. But every single person in the grid here tonight has got one thing in mind. I need to do as well as I can. This is the 4th last round of the season. This is all or nothing. There's no more breakaways. You need to be on top form from this race onwards to maximize the points. And taking a look at the points, how close it actually is, no one has any room for mistakes. And Terry Calgo Jr. is looking to capture the win in the GTD Pro side, and he knows he's only got 20 points to play with over the rest of his competition. So he really needs to keep his foot on the gas, really see if he can try and close up the distance, and how far is he willing to go? Where is the limit of pace? But at the moment, he's got to try and get past Wes Amric. Now, I go and take a look back to Adelaide, where Wes Amric did not make it too easy for Calgo Jr. Made him work going pillar to post, having to fight back and all. And for Wes Amric, he knows Terry's quick, but I can be quicker. We are on the same lap. We're in the same class. I don't have to roll out the red carpet. It's time to get elbows out racing. It's time to just keep our head down and move forward. And exactly what the pit crew is going to be shouting in his ears. Keep going. Forget your mirrors. Let's get those lap times, and let's keep hammering it in every step of the way. Now, on the last lap, Wes Amric was actually a little quicker than Calgo Jr. They're both running in the 144s, with Wes managing to get a 144.6. Terry managed to get a 144.7. So it's a slight between them. They're both running faster than Russell Abram in the head, who's did a 145.2, but Paul Skip sits with a 144.68, matching Wes Amric. So there's still some great top-end pace, But unfortunately for Russell Abram, he's got to really pull up his shorts to make sure he goes and holds that second place just for a little bit longer. Starting out in third, he does not want to be caught out by the rest of the field.
I don't know if Russell Abram's going to be able to hold this second spot. Wes Abrick and Terry Calger are on the move as they're battling side by side back here. And looks like Calger's going to take the spot away. And he is a little, I'd say substantially faster than Russ Abrams lap after lap. So I think they're going to go up there. They're only 2 seconds apart. Well, now 2.4, but before that pass was made, he was only 2 seconds back. As you can see, they're drafting one another, trying to make that pass happen once again. Emmerich really wanting to get that spot back now. It's going to be hard getting back past Calger. So he's got to do what he needs to do here, but also not destroy his tires.
Terry Calger Jr. more than happy to break a little bit later. Wes Emmerich tried his luck. They opted to get a little bit of breathing room heading towards the inner loop. Now that's down to the boot. Let's see if the Mustang has got the legs on the Porsche. The 992.2 fired it out, and just ahead of the Ford Mustang. It's going to be a close running, but the Ford has got the legs on the Porsche. It's all fixed setup racing. It's down to pure driver skill to get this all sorted out. You can see each of these drivers really throwing themselves around, trying to give it that extra little bit of a push. Wes Emmerich, once again, trying to keep a little bit of a shallow line, seeing if it can help get onto the back of that Porsche of Terry Calger Jr. He does not want to lose track of him, does not want to run a second behind. He wants to be on that back bumper, try and force a mistake with 42 minutes to go, see if he can cause him to burn those tires off. And right behind both of them, a driver not to be forgotten about, Fernandez, sits waiting. Adrian Fernandez is a little bit further down the order, but he is absolutely giving it his all. He wants to be in that fight. He wants to stay within the fight. Currently second in the GTD AM class, with Butter in third, and he is running, well, just about a good couple of seconds away. I'd say roughly 13. Rene Butter Jr. not going to be losing too much run at the moment in the Camel GT Tribute livery. Wonderful to see it out there, but absolutely going to be a great one. Another little battle that's starting to form out is going to be between the Jason brothers. That's also a little bit further back, as Jason Brothers trying to move his way up through the order. He's got Nick Turrell ahead of him. Nick Turrell, usually quite a quick runner, now also trying to slice his way back through the field. Unfortunately, has got Jason Brothers all over the back of him, really trying to see where he can put the pressure on, and that's just like James Foreman to also close in for the place. James Brothers, unfortunately, a little bit of damage to that front right, and I do think it's a little bit of an aero damage, so top end will be down. However, the driver is giving it everything he can to fight out against Nick Turrell and do everything he can to stay in for the fight. Started in 16th, up to 11th, and looking to get into fights for the top 10.
Foreman sitting back here watching this as a battle is about to commence there between Terrell and Brothers. And meanwhile, Devin Lowry picking up 7 spots here, running in 13th place, as we've got some drivers down pit road now. Charles Lee and Lowry, Gerald Lowry, both down pit road for their stop. And I believe there's going to be more than just one stop tonight, as we're only 40 minutes in, or 40 minutes left in this thing. They're going to have to stop again, as we've only got 40% fuel tonight.
Well, with both Lowrys into the pits, it's going to be an interesting call. Obviously on the radio it was, listen, I'm running out of juice here, let's get ourselves sorted, with Charles Lee as well. So they're looking on a really big undercut to the rest of the field, because they'll be the only ones having their first planned pit stop to hopefully move them up through the order, which is something we've seen them do in previous races with mixed results, and maybe it's going to be enough. Devin Lowry, however, in the pit lane for a lot longer as Ryan Javine gets past him. Gerald Lowry out on circuit, back up into 13th. He's going to go after Joshua Suksi at that stage of the game. But we take our eyes forward. Terry Calgo Jr. now sees that he's got Russell Abram out in second place, just ahead of him. And Abram going to be watching the mirrors, left, right, and center. What's the button to turn off those mirrors? Because the last thing I want to see is Terry Calgo Jr. going and closing up at a rate of night. Skip into the pits, first place, down into pit lane, relinquishes the lead. And we also do see Wes Amrick coming into the pits. Fernandez, Ren Butter Jr. coming into the pits as well. So a big call for the sharp end of the field, leaving Abram and Calgo Jr. to go and continue their drive. And it looks like it's also going to be Nick Tyrrell that's going to continue on up into third place. So quite a bit of the field has pulled in, and the rest of the field have decided, no, we're going to stick it out there. And that all comes down to Russell, Abram, Terry Calgo, and Nick Tyrrell to go and get that run. These three Porsches are looking to go and find that extra lap or two. They've been trying to just sip fuel at this moment. Maybe a little bit of lift and coast, hoping an extra lap will get them done. However, the pressure is on for when they do go into the pits. Paul Skip, Adrian Fernandez, Wes Amrick, Rene Butter, Gerald Lowry, Stephen Chansley. They'll be all over the back of them in a rate of knots. And Russell Abram, at the moment, leading out the field, does not want to be losing out this first place. And for Terry Calgo Jr., is it an attack side? Yes, he is. Down the inside, gets it done. And it's still a little bit of side-by-side action. But Terry managing to lock in that first place as we do get a black flag. Unfortunately for Jason Brothers to go through a drive-through yet again. Not quite what he wanted to have on his day. But Calgo now up into first place, opening up the gap to Abraham. Is he going to dive into the pits, or is he going to go a little bit longer in this race? And he's down into pit lane. So is Abram. How far are they away from Nick Tyrrell and Paul Skip, who will be trying to bell their way heading towards the line? And here's Nick Tyrrell making his way around. He's also looking to go into pit lane. So now this is going to be the call. Paul Skip, first of the drivers to go and pull into the pits from the top 5. Has he got enough in the tank to really give him that hard push to get back into the lead of the race? Would the undercut work? He gets past Terry Calgo Jr. and Russell Abram. Paul Skip up for the lead of the race while everyone's on the jacks. Paul Skip now back in the lead. The undercut has worked, and we should see Terry Calgo Jr. coming out ahead of Russell Abram, Adrian Fernandez, Wes Amrick going and getting the pass done. Terry now trying to get himself sorted out. What a run for Paul Skip. He rolled the dice. He didn't get snake eyes there. What a run for him. But now with 36 minutes to go, he's going to have to try and hold that top spot.
As they got a 7-second gap here. What a phenomenal pit road entry and exit for Paul Skip. I mean, that was it's about as perfect as you could get. One of the fastest on track as far as cone to cone. But Terry Calgo comes out ahead of Abrams to take over the second spot. Now it's just a battle of attrition here, turning these fast lap times, but also saving these tires. And I got a question: are we gonna have to pit again? Because we've got 35 minutes to go. Steve, I think they're gonna be able to pit one more time, or are they gonna try to save?
I've got a funny feeling everyone wants to try and save that a little bit more, trying to go that little bit longer into the race. Any pit stop now is definitely a negative one for your run in the points. So I think you got to lift and coast quite a bit. But talking about that, there's a huge battle ongoing a little bit further down by Rene Butter Jr., Gerald Lowry, Stephen Charlesley, Ryan Tyler. They are not going and having an easier time to lift and coast. And even behind them, we can see Ryan Tyler, James Foreman, and Jason Brothers all in tow. We've got multiple little fights that are out on circuit. And these are drivers that are, yes, in slipstream, but they're pushing as hard as they can. Jason Brothers into the pits to serve his drive-through penalty, which leaves Foreman and Ryan Tyler to duke it out as a duo, but just ahead of them, just up the road, they can see an ongoing battle with Charles Lee, Gerald Lowry, Lee Butter, all trying to get one up on Nick Tyrrell, who holds on to that 6th place spot. All 4 of these cars are not letting go and most certainly not going to be saving fuel and tires. They're giving them that final push to go and maximize the points at this stage of the game. And for Wes Amrick, he's holding 3rd in class. Tyrrell's holding 3rd in class, is holding 4th in class for the GTD Pro. For Butter, he is fighting the GTD Pro field and lies 3rd in the GTD Am. This is now, I'm here to prove I can race against you guys. I'm here to show what I can do, and I'll continue to apply pressure to the rest of the GTD Pro class, because this is where I'm going to eventually race come Season 3. And he's doing a darn good job at it.
Gerald Lowry around. Wasn't saving at all. It looks like the Mustang here is trying to get it situated. No damage though, gonna get it back going, but he's gonna lose quite a bit of spots here. 13th place.
And now it's the brothers all together as the 2 Lowrys are on top of one another. A bit of an Austin Powers moment to try and get these cars turned around. Forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, and you're just doing a 1,000,000-point turn just to try and get yourself going. But Devin Lowry now sees that Gerald Lowry is ahead of him, going and saying, right, time to catch up, time to apply the pressure, and the brothers looking to take the fight to one another. In 2 different classes, might I add, one in GTD Pro being Gerald Lowry and Devin Lowry in GTD Am. But who says you can't have a brilliant fight nonetheless? So everyone trying to really get that ultimate run up through the order, trying to give it that last little bit of a push. As 32 minutes to go in this race, Watkins Glen now starts to take a bit of strain on the drivers. Yes, it's a fast-flowing circuit, but you have to be so awake through the corners because the steering lightens up underneath you. You've got to feed the power on. If you stand on the gas too hard, you will get these cars turned around so quickly. And that's what we've seen happen to a number of our drivers. James Foreman trying to catch up to Ryan Tyler, who is really on a hard charge. Ryan Tyler hoping to catch up to Charsley a little bit up ahead. The Porsche running out a little bit wide there. The Super Mario 8-bit colors coming into play. Always wonderful to see. Always want to go and give a bit of a shout out to the old retros. Talk about that. Chingos, I was around during those times. Oh man, how to feel ancient. Thanks Stephen Chelsea for making me feel 30 years older than I actually am. But Chelsea on a phenomenal run. Foreman keeping the pressure on to the back of Tyler as we get Dan Bonnet diving into pit lane. So Dan into pit lane from 18th position. The Porsche trying to get himself sorted out. And is this going to be one for the drivers to keep an eye out for? There was the concern of possibly doing a double stop. Well, let's take a look from there, because Dan Bonnet is the first one to do a fuel-to-fuel stop.
Take a look here at Paul Skip as he has got an under 6-second lead here from Calgar Jr. Calgar turning some fast lap time, almost in the 143s here, Steve. I'm not sure how he's doing it. And did not destroyed his tires.
Foot flat all the way. See what goes, what sticks. The question is Skip going and under-revving the car to go and try and get that car across the line, or extend the fueling into it as well? Because he tried for the undercut. And I would wonder if he's trying to just give it that little bit. So take a look at the rev count. Straight to maximum revs in third, maximum revs in fourth. He is focusing on the pressure behind him. There is no slowing things down. Down the gears, feeding through the throttle, maximum revs. So he is most certainly not working on a fuel run. This is just out and out, flat out, get the car going, and really just give it that final push. So an interesting run there from our leader, feeling that pressure. Another little fight breaking out for 9th and 10th place between Chauncey and Foreman. The two of them going and having an absolute brawl. And right in front is Ryan Tyler as the two Porsches are brought into the attack. Foreman getting right onto the back of Chauncey, trying to see what he can do. Down in the slipstream, this is where you can give a little bit of a lift, get yourself pulled along, and then try and go on the attack. As we on back of Stephen Chauncey trying to have a bit of a run. Ryan Tyler clear air for the Mercedes, but it's James Foreman who has got the problem. Going and seeing Chauncey's back end, closing, slips out to the inside line, gonna go down for the inner loop into the right-hander, but just could not brake late enough. That allowed Chauncey to get on by. James Foreman losing a lot of time. If you just can't get that pass done, you can lose ample time. You've got to either pull the trigger or you're going to have to wait. Otherwise, it will hamper you. But definitely, James Foreman starting to spot where he is quicker and where he can close down the gap that little bit more. Having to try once again down the inside. Couldn't quite get the pass. Once again, waiting for his opportunity. Looking around, saying, right, what do I need to do here? And at the moment, that's helping out Ryan Tyler in the Mercedes, seeing these two Porsches get into a bit of a brawl behind him. Foreman looking to the inside. Once again, couldn't quite get it done. Chelsea's alive once again. Utilizes the slipstream ahead of him, trying to pull himself along, but also doing everything he can to force James Foreman out wide, go and kill off that drive, knock him off cam. And Yavin, a little bit further back, is holding on to the coattails, and I won't count him out of the fight, along with Mano a little bit further back. Stephen Mano is also there in the Chevrolet, and he is not waiting. He is just sitting, going, right, what can I do? Side by side for our two Porsches up ahead. Foreman and Chauncey as they head into turn one, and it's going to be Foreman getting the pass done and dusted. Chauncey doing everything he can. Now through the sweeps, through the right-hander, through the left-hander. Chauncey's going to have the advantage in the slipstream. Foreman's going to have to get a little bit defensive, heading towards the inner loop. It's going to be nose-to-tail run. Looks towards the inside. Will the side draft work? Is it going to be late on the brakes? It's going to be Foreman. Cross the nose, getting it done. Very, very settled. Stephen Chauncey had no way to try and get that pass done and dusted. James Foreman more than happy to go a little bit later on the anchors, slings the car through, and now just needs to open up at just enough distance away from Stephen Chauncey from behind. A great race, fighting out for 9th and 10th position. You could swear they're fighting out for 1st and 2nd.
Not a lot to lose here. As we take a look back a little bit further, the brothers, Devin and Gerald Lowry, almost nose to tail here. Gerald still not able to make the pass happen on Devin, as Devin got by and has now set sail.
Going and opening up that gap quite a bit. And this is a little bit of a precarious one because you got two different classes racing one another, which you've got to be mindful of. And also, you want to maximize overall scoring. And being at the back after a spin is not really where you want to be. So you want to try and pick up the pace. So for Gerald Lowry, he wants to try and clear Devin Lowry, who has had a little bit of a rougher time during the course of this race. Devin Lowry has gone through pit lane a couple of times, going and landing up with a few off tracks as well. So not ideal circumstances for him, but will be on the charge to try and move his way up through the order. And behind them, he's got Jason Brothers, Joshua Suxi, Alex Valesco, Dan Bonnet, and Christopher Torres still running. Unfortunately, Keith Roycroft completely out of this race and is just missing out on crucial points. But it's good to see some of the back end that had run into trouble early on, now trying to keep it all together and also keep the pace going. Another little fight that is looking to break out is Adrian Fernandez and Wes Amrick further up the road, along with our Foreman and Chauncey battle. So we've got little silos starting to build up along the circuit. Wes Amric in the Ford Mustang trying to get a little bit of a run on Fernandez. Fernandez second in the GTD AM class, fighting out with third place in the GTD Pro class. Wes Amric, a very, very great driver, very, very competitive, but just looks like the VerstappenRacing.com Mustang just not working out for him here. He's in the tow, trying to pull himself along, trying to see if he can just get that little bit closer. Late on the anchors, slings it into turn one, bottoms out the car, but just not having any headway on the straight six turbocharged BMW. The Mustang naturally aspirated V8 going and chasing down. You can hear that Coyote engine shouting from the rooftops, trying to close up, doing everything it can, but unfortunately not having as much luck. With all fixed setup racing, each of these drivers are BOP'd by iRacing themselves, and it has been a fun one to keep an eye out for. Some tracks just work out for cars. Others, well, you're going to have to work that little bit harder. Drivers getting over the oversteer and understeer that comes through it. Christopher Torres into the pits. And a big look down the inside for Wes Amric, trying to see if he could go and hunt it down. Fernandez left the door open. I think that'll be the last time he ever leaves the door open just for a bit of fresh air, because Wes is more than happy to take that big nose of the Mustang, go and fill up the space, and look to try and move up into fourth.
A whole lot of battles going on right now as we've got James Foreman around Ryan Tyler. Finally, Ryan Tyler falling back to the 9th position as James Foreman takes over the 8th spot. Looking good so far, up 10 spots from his starting position of 18th position here, as that's really the only battle other than Wes Amric and Fernandez, which are side by side right now. Wes Amric taking the Mustang up into 4th position here as Adrian Fernandez falls back into 5th. But he's up in the slipstream here as they're going up through the S's. Looks like he's going to try to get back to the outside of the Mustang. Doesn't quite have enough. And here he goes, going to try it once again as they're heading down into the chicane. Side by side, and the BMW of Adrian Fernandez has got to let out. And look at the gap he has lost. Look at all the track he has lost just by braking early here, going into the chicane, Steve.
That erring on the side of caution, unfortunately throwing him back roughly a second, and Wes Amric going and disappearing. Oh no, what is going on for Wes Amric? It looks like he may have run into a little bit of network issues, and not quite what Adrian Fernandez wanted to see, a Mustang going and galloping away out of view. But that's also allowed Nick Tyrrell to close up the gap as well. So don't count out Nick Tyrrell. He's still in for a solid fight here. Currently running 4th in class. He wants to get a bit closer to Wes Amric, as we do see Alex Velasco into the pits, trying to get himself sorted out. Christopher Torres serving a drive-through penalty and will be getting himself sorted out. But Nick Tyrrell has been a sharp runner towards the top end of the field for quite a bit of the season. Now needing to close down on the Mustang ahead of him. He's got to dispatch Fernandez as fast as possible. For Fernandez, he needs to be cautious because Butter is starting to close up the distance. As time has gone on and drivers have been giving it that extra little bit of a push, they're now starting to feel the wear and tear. The stamina is starting to run out, and it's who has got enough in the tank. Ryan Tyler and Stephen Chauncey into the pits as well, trying to get themselves sorted out. So that second pit stop creeping in, and it's going to be a bit of a telling tale at this stage of the game. Fernandez last lap time was a 147.4 compared to Nick Tyrrell doing a 144.3. Butter Jr. doing a 145.4, so he is even quicker than Fernandez. So Fernandez is really starting to feel that pressure, and starting to lose some serious time to the rest of the field. Maybe a little bit of lifting, coasting, hoping to eke out an extra lap or two out of the BMW, but he is losing severe amount of time, and that's going to cost him dearly. As here comes the Porsche, Nick Tyrrell in the slipstream, looking for an opportunity. He sees that big BMW. He sees an opportunity. Fernandez now can hear the Jaws theme song pounding in the back of his head. Doo-rim, doo-rim, doo-rim. As it's going to be a Porky Pig of a Porsche coming through, going and sporting all the Aztec Racing livery. A wonderful looking car, and has to try and get past a very, very wide BMW. We've seen Fernandez is not afraid to go elbows out racing. He's not afraid to say, right, buddy, I'm going to hold the line here. You're going to have to work hard. And for Nick Tyrrell, he wouldn't have it any other way. But the question comes down, who's got that little bit more room as we head down into the last 18 minutes of this race, as Ryan Javan is into the pits. So Ryan is into the pits. He is pitting from 10th position and will be getting himself sorted out, leaving the rest of the pack to go that little bit longer. This is a wild moment for every single driver. Everyone trying to give it that one final push. The question is, who has got enough in the tank to go and get that one extra lap? If not, when are you going to do the undercut? This is now a math game. This is where you start talking to your engineers in the back. All right, chaps, what do we need to do here? How much do I need to save? Where can I lift and coast? Where am I losing time? And where is my competition? And that is what Wes Amrick is going to be saying the whole way through, knowing that Nick Tyrrell is on a charge to try and take over that third place in class.
I think if I was Wes Emmerich here, Steve, I think I would stay out as long as I could until Nick Tyrrell actually caught me, as Paul Skipper's down pit road along with, well, it looks like Terry Calger passes for the lead here. But if I was Wes Emmerich, I would wait. And there he goes. He's going down pit road right now.
Yep, called you a liar on that one. Decided to go early in. Probably listening to the broadcast and was like, hey, listen, Adam just said I must go long. Nah.
What's
let's just get that wrong.
always making Adam into a liar here. Every time I say something, it's like, no, we're going to go pit right now. I think I would have waited a little bit longer until Nick actually caught me here, and then I would pit.
Well, Paul Skip coming out of the pits, now up into 5th position. Now having to play a little bit of catch up. This would be his last pit stop. We did see the remnants of Christopher Torres' Mercedes in pit lane, needing a bit of spares to be given to it. Unfortunately, some major damage to the sharp end of that car, and it looks like Christopher Torres is just eyeing out the competition from pit lane. But now, Terry Calgo Jr., Russell Abram, Nick Torres, Adrian Fernandez, and Adrian Fernandez yet to do their pit stop, leaving Paul Skip, Wes Amrick, Ren Butter Jr. all out on track. James Foreman going and also having a solid drive as well. Let's see how it's going to work out. Our top 4 need to go and think about their pit stops with Paul Skip on their tail. He's 19 seconds away from Fernandez, so it's a bit of work to try and close up to the BMW. However, it takes a while once you go down pit road. Nearly 17 seconds on average for the drivers. No tires being taken. It's all fuel to go that little bit longer into this race. And I do think many of the drivers now are going to be running until that red light turns off. That fuel light, the fuel light that comes on, you're like, I know my car, I can go a little bit longer. Well, when that light turns off because it's sick and tired of wearing itself out, that's when you know you're going to get into the pits. But Terry Calgo Jr. carries on. Abraham in second place, as we do have Adrian Fernandez pulling into the pits. The BMW just not having the legs to go a little bit longer compared to the Porsches. Once again, we see Calgo Jr., Russell Abram, Nick Tyrrell all going a lap longer than the rest of the field. Paul Skip in the Chev will be keeping a very close eye on it as well, as now he sits 19 seconds away from Nick Turrell. Nick sits 35 seconds away from Russell Abram, and Russell is sitting roughly about 5 seconds away from Terry Calgo Jr. So Terry is in a very good spot right now for first place. Russell Abram and Nick Turrell, they've got to hope the pit lane is ready for them and that their teams are absolutely on point. Those nut runners have got to be absolutely perfect. The fuel lines have got to be absolutely pressurized to shove whatever's needed into these cars as fast as possible. Terry into the pits. Russell will be next, along with Nick Turrell as they come around. So let's see what's going to happen. Russell trying to make his way around, hooks into the pit lane. He dives into the pit. It's a Porsche. 1, 2, and I'm sure there is 3 coming around as Ryan Tyler, one of our lap cars, carries on. He is on a stellar drive out there and looking to move forward. He's got Joshua Suxi, but here comes Paul Skip. Has he done it to get the run back into the lead? Paul Skip on the charge, bailing across the line. It's going to be ahead of Turrell. It's going to be ahead of Abram. And here comes Terry Calgo Jr. on the exit. He's able to get the run and has just got himself slightly ahead of Paul Skip. Terry Calgo Jr. had just enough room to hold back Paul Skip's undercut and now needs to give it everything he's got. It's going to be Russell Abram into third, Nick Turrell into fourth, Wes Amrick into fifth as they all pile their way through. Nick Turrell now fights it out against the Verstappen.com car of Wes Amrick, who's trying to fight back into the top 4, sees he's got an opportunity. Remember, Wes has got tyres that are a little bit more up to temperature and fuel that is a little less to fight it out for the next 12 minutes and 20 seconds. This is a race of note for the podium, and between Skip and Calgo, and also a great run for Amrick and Turrell.
And what a great pit stop execution here for Terry Calgo. Only in his box for 13 or a little less than 13 seconds here compared to the 16 from Paul Skip. He needed that little bit less of fuel, which put him out in the lead. And I don't see, honestly, Paul Skip running him down after this. That clean air here for Terry Calgo for the first time. I think he's going to like what he feels and should set sail here. But Paul Skip running some pretty fast times as well. So it's all up in the air. I don't know who's going to win this one here, but I do like Russell Abrams. He's been consistent all race long here. Just nice execution down pit road, nice execution around all these 11 turns, just over and over and over, just nice conservative lines and consistent lap times. Russell Abrams, he is on the move for sure.
I'm taking a look, but the battle behind him, Turrell and Amrick fighting it out. I mean, Abrams leading out the GT3 AM. He's got no pressure from Fernandez, who holds second in the AM, and Butter, who holds third in the AM. But for Turrell and Amrick, they are fighting out for the final step on the podium right now. And with Calgo and Skip currently holding a 1-2, Turrell and Amrick are going to be fighting out for that final spot. And at the moment, Wes Amrick applying all the pressure and more to Nick Turrell, who's soaking it up, mounting over the curbs, really trying to flirt with track limits there, utilizing every bit of pace that they can take for the next 10 minutes. This is all about rhythm. It's all about checking who's got enough gas left in the tank to give it that final push. And for both drivers, you can be sure that their fingers have now formed part of the steering wheel, gripping it so tightly, not wanting to take a breath. Because you look in your mirrors, you see that you've got a big giant Mustang in front of you. You look outside your front windscreen and you see a Porsche 992 ahead of you. It is one of the most frustrating yet stressful moments out there, and you've just got to be able to take that deep breath, calm those nerves, settle down. You start feeling like you're getting a little bit warmer out there, just trying to hold on. Now for Wes Emmerich, he's just applying that pressure. Not close enough to make any impact as yet, but just enough to fill the mirrors and constantly force Nick Tyrrell to take his eyes off the apexes, look towards the mirror, and carry on his way. So a tough run for them, but Wes Emmerich not holding back at the moment. Down into turn 1, brings himself back up through the bolt, jumps over the curbs. You got to be so careful not to go and turn while you're over those curves. It will rotate your car, so you literally got to get all the rumble strip underneath the middle of your car and then back off as quick as you can without going and having the rear going and snapping underneath you. It's just the little turns that make that solid impact. Wes Emmerich hoping to keep a solid push at the moment, seeing what he can do. Never an easy one, needing to apply as much pressure. Nick Tyrrell once again holding on, will get alerted. 8 minutes to go. Take a breath, but you need to try and hold on to this third place spot. This is for the championship. Last thing you want to do is lose out on the runnings here. You need to try and find that last little bit of effort to give it a last shot. And this is absolutely incredible, and considering that there's only, after this, 3 more rounds of racing. We head out to Circuit of Americas. We go to Autodrome Enzo de Ferrari and Road Atlanta at night. You've got to maximize your points here tonight for the championship. There is no coming off the gas. There is no running away from the situation. There is no way of taking a breather. So as Nick giving it everything he's got, trying to push that a little bit harder up through the order, giving it a little bit more of a run for our GTD Pro. Terry Calgaro Jr. leads out the championship with Ryan Tyler. Nick Tyrrell holds on to third with Paul Skip, who is going to be usurping him at this stage of the game. Paul Skip running second place in the championship. Running fourth in the championship. Nick Tyrrell holding third in the championship. That little swap round is going to be really painful for it. And if Wes Emmerich comes on by, it's just going to throw Nick Tyrrell down the order, and especially going and losing right towards the end. So not an ideal circumstance for him. Brad McCombs, unfortunately, out of tonight's racing, will be losing points, as James Foreman, who runs in second place, is going to be happy in this run. Justin Togdegano, Joshua Susi, Stephen Maynard, Troy Banks, Brandon DeMitter, Daniel Barnett, all going and fighting out. But it is going to be Abrams that holds at the top for tonight. And he is lying 18th in the GTD AM class. So a stellar run for him, as 18th in the championship. Now looking to really score a good haul of points to bump him up the championship. Fernandez, who holds on to second in the race, he's also looking to go and score a solid amount of points for the championship. There is no one out there that is going and thinking, I'm in for a little bit of hard work. But I do want to take a look. We've got Tyler down in 15th position, not having a good time out there. And we are starting to see some problems creeping in right to the end. Black flag coming in for Stephen Maynard, who unfortunately has gone over for incident limits. He will need to serve a drive-through penalty. Not exactly how he wanted to end this race. 9 places up from where he started, and now will be going and scratching his head on what he needs to do here to try and get himself sorted. So looking down towards pit lane, the Buckies unfortunately visiting pit lane for drive-through penalty, dropping him out of the top 10 completely, as he has Brothers come past, Stephen Chansley comes past. I mean, these are just positions that are absolutely hurting him. But back up to the top, Russell Abram, Nick Tyrrell, all gonna have a go. Paul Skip a little further up the road, trying to close the distance to Terry Calgo Jr., as Christopher Torres once again into the pits, trying to get himself sorted out. Drivers giving it that final push. 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go. And I mean, this is a great race thus far. Adam, we're in for a final push down to the wire, and everyone giving it that final charge. I mean, Gerald Lowry catching up to Stephen Chansley, and with the likes of Stephen Minner as well. I mean, these are some close racing. Minner, who went and served a drive-through penalty, had Gerald Lowry come bailing on by. He's trying to move back up into 12th position. There is still races up and down through the field right till the very end.
I think that drive-through penalty is really going to hurt Stephen Manor here in the AM class. He's got to get back to Gerald Lowry and try to get that pass back, because all these positions matter. He pitted in from the 9th or 10th spot, so this is going to hurt him badly here.
Well, another ongoing fight is not between our GTD pros, but a fight between our GTD Pro and Pro-Am. Nick Tyrrell and Russell Abram having a go at one another, looking to go for 3rd overall. And so far, Nick Tyrrell up into 3rd. So Nick is more than happy on this one, has got the drive. Nick Tyrrell in 3rd, now trying to hold 3rd overall. As we can see, Abram right behind, and Wes Amrick falling down the order as well. He's down to 5th place, trying to play a little bit of catch-up with 3 minutes to go. Can he close the difference? Can he make up that place? And I don't think Russell Abram is one to rest on his laurels. Yes, you are first in class, but what it would be to be a GTD AM car and finish 3rd overall here at Watkins Glen for the fourth last round of the championship here at the Pony Express GT3 Championship. I mean, this is just an out and right go for it. Absolutely push as hard as you can for round 9. And let's see which of the drivers is going to be able to get going. And I can take a look over to our virtual grandstands, going and enjoying it. Like Nades Gaming saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. And Double Apex Gaming going and saying, how's it and what's going. Absolutely great stuff, as we got Adam Gladfelter going and running on cams and mic, myself, Stephen Koenig on the mic, as we get to enjoy the racing action right down to the wire. 1 minute and 55 seconds. Who has got the charge? Terry Calgo Jr., our leader of the race, from the back of the pack up into 1st. 17th to 1st is never an easy effort, and with that end of line, he had to go and work that little bit harder. Can he carry the momentum through? Ryan Tyler says, you go on by, buddy. I'm not going to argue with you. Puts himself a lap down, just trying to tick all the boxes at the moment, trying to move forward to see who will stand on the top. An ultimate charge right down to the wire, as Christopher Torres, black flag yet again for Christopher Torres. A nightmare of night for him so far, has been in and out through pit lane. He has had a absolutely tough time. 7 times he's visited the pit lane, as we onto our final lap. And Christopher Torres still trying to see it through to the end no matter what. But 7 times he's gone through pit lane and not helping out his chances in the championship. He's the last of the runners out there. But Calgo Jr. on a solid run, as our drivers from him are really going. Next up for our GTD Pro is going to be Paul Skip in 2nd place. Nick Tyrrell holds on to 3rd place of our GTD Pro class. He's been breaking away slowly but surely away from Russell Abram, who holds on to 4th place and 1st of the GTD AM. But take a look at Wes Amrick trying to put a bit of pressure. Wes trying to see if he can get into the top 4. He's got the leader of the AM class now ahead of him into the slipstream. Is Wes going to try go for the pass? Not through the inner loop, as Abram once again holds the line, ensuring that he doesn't go and give up a single little bit. He is on the power the whole way through, trying to see what he can do. Wes Amrick keeps a solid run here at the Pony Express GT3 round 9, and it's our 4th last round of the season. Terry Calgo Jr. making his way through. This is up towards the last. He's going to have a smile ear to ear, extending his lead in the championship. Terry Calgo Jr., faultless run and a solid run round the final corner here at Watkins Glen and bails it to the line. Here we bowling, and it was a full strike for Terry Calgo Jr., taking the victory overall and in the GTD Pro class. Paul Skip will finish up in 6th place with Nick Tyrrell out in 3rd. Wes Amrick managing to get the run on 4th place for our GTD Pro, but it is going to be a monster run for Russell Abram, who comes across the line leading out our GTD AM class. Well done to Russell Abram. Starting 3rd, he did end in 5th, but he did put in a solid effort to win his class, going and getting ahead of Rene Butter Jr., who holds on to 6th position, and Adrian Fernandez will be rounding out the pack of our GTD AM top 3. A solid run. And also, he was carrying a bit of damage to the car. The front hood completely missing and bang the wall. So Fernandez managing just to limp that car to the line at the very end. James Foreman, Ryan Javan, along with Jason Brothers, Stephen Charlesley, Gerald Lowry, Devin Lowry, Stephen Maynard, Ryan Tyler, Joshua Suksi, Alex Valesco, Dan Barnett, Christopher Torres, and unfortunately one car that didn't get to see the start of the race, Keith Roycraft, out after lap 1. Did not go and get to see the run. What a drive, what a time, and man, oh man, Adam, this was a race and a half, and I've got to say, absolutely incredible.
It was a battle. I did not know who was going to win this thing at the end. A lot of saving here during the mid part of the race. I mean, we saw some lap times drop significantly, thinking they could probably make it here. And then all of a sudden, boom, everybody's battling once again, trying to make every position count going towards the end of this thing.
That was some great racing, and we've got some interviews coming up as well. But let's take a look at our results. It's Russell Abram in 1st place for the AM class with James Foreman, and Ryan Javan in 3rd place. The last charger was James Foreman, and Russell Abram having the most laps led, fastest lap, and pole position, has done an incredible job to stay in for the fight regardless. So a solid run on their part to really move up the order. And taking a look, Terry Calgo Jr. in 1st place with Paul Skip and Nick Tyrrell holding on to that 3rd place overall. What a drive from them. And we'll have to keep an eye on the field of who stands where as we start to get our competitors coming to have a chat to us. And we can't wait to have a chat to them. Starting with our AM category, I would say, go and have a chat to them with Rene Butter, who was able to hold on for 2nd place in the charge. Mr. Butter, welcome to the commentary box. 2nd in class, a hard-fought fight. How are you feeling after that one?
Oh, cool. I got 2nd. I had no idea. I thought I was 3rd. That's cool. Yeah, good. It's been 6 weeks or so since I've been able to get on to a race. So, yeah, all good, though. It's a good ride.
With that being said, what is the game plan heading in towards the next couple of races? You've got a very interesting run now to move up through the order to really stand at the top. What's your game plan to really lock in and score those points and see if you can make it into the top 10 and maybe even go a little bit higher up towards the top 5?
That it's problem with me is my schedule kind of limits what I can do, so I can probably do the next race at Coda, but the one after that I'm probably gonna miss. But yeah, I just do what I can when I can and see how it goes. I just kind of wing it most of the time, so usually it works out for me.
That being said, how was the race out at a beautiful Watkins Glen for you? It looked like it was a bit of a challenging one up and down through the field.
Yeah, it was good. The start was a little sketched there. I don't know what happened with the BMW, if he missed a shift or whatnot, but we got stacked up there. Was able to make it out of there unscathed relatively, and yeah, just kind of ran my race and did what I could. So I'm happy with it.
Well, you did an absolute bang-up job, and to finish second place in the GTD AM class, really looking forward to seeing what you can do. Before we let you go to enjoy the celebration, to get some rest after a hard-fought fight, anything you want to say to anyone here at the Pony Express GT3 Challenge, to all the drivers, to all the teams, to everyone behind the scenes, and also to the fans out there in the virtual grandstands here at Racer Nexus?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the guys putting this on. You know, it's a good group of guys that we got running with us. Everyone's really respectful, and yeah, it's pretty easy to drive with everybody. And I just appreciate you guys doing the broadcast for us as well. It's pretty cool. So that's all I got.
Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you hopefully really soon, and good luck for the rest of the championship. It's nearly done. It's nearly there.
Thank you, sir.
But coming in and managing to hook in a second place and really putting himself up onto the run. Next up, though, we have got our first place in the AM category. We've got Russell Abram to come and have a chat to us. Russell, welcome to the commentary box. I see an Acura badge, but, well, it was most certainly not an Acura that managed to get the victory here, managing to move yourself up. How are you feeling after that race?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm feeling very good after that race. The Acura is for my street car. Definitely finally felt competitive tonight.
Well, that being said, you were fighting it out with the pro class and not giving anyone a bit of an inch there, wanting a third overall right at the top. I mean, take us through the action that you were having. It didn't look like there was any time, even going into the pits, you just had cars around you, in the pits, out the pits, on the track, every which way you go, and finding out to be at the top.
Right, yeah, I had great action all around me. It was all pros, and I knew they weren't my battle. I didn't want to get in their way. I wanted to be as competitive as possible, but when it came down to it, you probably noticed I gave up a few positions because they were quicker, and I was not going to hold them up.
Well, it was a great one to see, and we can't wait to see how it all works out as the races continue. What's the game plan for the end of the season for you to go and try and move your way up through the points? I mean, it is a very close season, but now from 18th, you've managed to hook up first place, and now jumping up a few points in the championship, looking at that top 10.
Right, yeah, so I just joined back in last week, so as much as I want to be very competitive and right up there, I don't want to mess with the points battle for the rest of the season. Next season, I will be in it 100% ready to go.
Well, wonderful to have you back and enjoying the racing. Before you let you go, anything you would like to say to all the absolute petrol heads out in the virtual grandstands here at the Racer Nexus, and to everyone, all the drivers, teams, and everyone in the background of the Pony Express going and running this GT3 challenge?
Yeah, I would first of all love to thank you guys at Racer Nexus for putting on a brilliant broadcast. I've seen a lot of your stuff. I know some of you guys, and it's just wonderful. Really big shout out to the Sky Lounge Motorsports team. It's been great racing with them.
Absolutely wonderful stuff. Russell, congratulations on the victory, and what a run up towards the top. Looking forward to seeing what you can do next week. And well, for your first race out last week, second one this week, I think you're going to be a top contender heading into next season.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely great stuff. Russell Abram going and managing to lock out on that front row, putting a really great charge. I mean, Adam, this has been some incredible stuff. But we've still got a couple more interviews to come and have a chat to, and we're moving on to our pros. And it's going to be Nick Tyrrell that will be the first one to have a chat to. Third place in our race. Nick Turtle, welcome to the commentary box. And man, oh man, third place at the end of the day. Not a bad race for you out there. A lot of hard work to fight through the field.
Indeed, yeah. I had to take my licks from last week where I had a race start infringement, so I was able to keep the results from last week, but as part of that, I got a good wrist slap to have a forced pit start with no qualifying, so had to start wherever the iRating had me behind everyone that didn't qualify, or everyone that did qualify, rather, so in the pit lane, so it was a uphill battle. I was hoping to maybe get a P3 or so out of it, so it's about as good as I thought I could get.
Well, you still stuck in a serious amount of work, and I've got to say, some incredible, incredible drives nonetheless. Question that comes down that I've got to ask, what is the game plan for the rest of the season? You've managed to pull it from the brink yet again up towards the top. You're third in the championship. You got third here tonight. Ryan Tyler losing out critical points on the championship, which means you're in for the fight for second place. What's the game plan heading into the last couple of races for the season?
Need to find a voodoo doll of Terry or something and maybe change some stuff up that way. But yeah, I need something to happen with Terry. He keeps getting EOLs too and works his way up through cleanly as well. So it's just a matter of being on the right or wrong side of some mishaps and just maybe finishing in front of one or the other. But it's a pretty good gap, 110 points or more, probably to him at this point. Probably more actually. And yeah, need something to go my way as far as the crowds go, and kind of like with Ryan tonight, he was racing from a different location and not even in his own equipment and stuff. So that was kind of in our favor that way. So it made him human again for a week, and then Terry just needs to, I don't know, to have a couple beers before a race or something.
Throw a couple of lock nuts underneath the rig just so it has the Kremlin going, did I miss a bolt somewhere? But still, Nick, incredible drive out there, and you've managed to push your way to the top, managing to get some points and fight out for the top run. Anything you would like to say to everyone out in the virtual grandstands cheering you on here at the Race of Nexus, and also to everyone at the Pony Express, to all the drivers and teams that you got to duke it out, and to your team going and cheering you on?
Yeah, as always, everyone that comes out, those of us who help coordinate and get people loaded in the league and sessions and help out there, everyone that's helping out, everyone that's donated toward the broadcasting and plaques. I'm looking forward to it for the next season as well. We've already got a message out there to kind of get the ball rolling. Our spouses and families and significant others and everything, that's always good to have them around and helping support us and be around for these races too. So yeah, just keep on keeping on, as they say.
Keep on keeping on. Absolutely wonderful stuff, Nick, and congratulations on that third place. A stellar effort.
Thanks, fellas. Looking forward to watching it tomorrow.
Awesome stuff. Nick Turtle managing to hook third in class and third overall, going and battling out. But Adam, we've got our final driver to come and have a chat to, and you get to go have a chat to our race winner and class winner, Terry Calgo Jr.
Terry, Adam Glatfelter in the booth. How we doing tonight, buddy?
Great. How you guys?
Man, doing a phenomenal. Watching the race here, getting to call it, and started 17th back here. And to find yourself up in the #1 spot when this thing all shakes out after an hour's worth of driving, how does it feel?
Very unexpected, to be honest. I thought Skip was going to run away with it starting up out front. So I kind of had to play around with pit strategy during practice and see if I could get an extra lap or, to help at the end if I could get close to him and maybe leapfrog him, which is how it worked out, or at least get as close as possible to him. Little nerve-wracking there at the start, just trying to keep the car clean, but it was worth it.
Well, and that was bringing me to my next question here. So I did notice that you ran a little bit further than Paul did, and you were only on pit road for 12 seconds compared to his 16, which ultimately allowed you to leapfrog him there, and that clean air just made you just take off. That was the first time that night that you've even had the clean air, and that Porsche just handled phenomenally what you got out the front.
Yeah, it really did. I could definitely tell a difference. And I tried to do a good job as I was coming up through the field at saving tires. So I would have something left at the end, because with the fuel levels that we run, you can't take tires for free without losing any time. You could take 1, 2, or 3, but you can't take all 4. So I was like, let me see if I can save tires enough and keep them at the end. And after the first pit stop, I had a pretty good feeling I was in good shape in that department, as long as I could keep it clean the rest of the race.
Well, you came into the point standings 20 points above second place, and I believe this is going to help you out pretty significantly. We've only got, 2 more races to go as we go to Circuit of Americas next week.
We got 3 left. We got Circuit of America.
That's right.
Imola,
Yeah, 3.
And
this
then
is 9
Road
and
Atlanta.
12.
Yep.
That's right. 9 and 12. That's what I'm talking about. All right, my friend. Well, if Steve doesn't have anything for you, we'll
All good.
Yep, we'll let you get some
right.
shout outs to any of the sponsors, any of the fans watching, and we'll send you on your way.
Yeah, as always, thank you guys for doing what you do. It's a great broadcast. I love watching it, the next day afterwards. Other than that, just in case my daughter decides to watch this, an early birthday, her 6th birthday is tomorrow. So shout out to her. Sometimes she likes to sit and watch these after the fact. So, figured I'd give her an early happy birthday. But other than that, thanks to everybody that shows up on a weekly basis and races with us, and, keep it going, and hopefully keep it growing.
Oh boy, hold on. So it's her 6th birthday, and you're not even going to sing happy birthday. I'm going to change that right now. What's her name?
Stevie. Okay,
yes. So we've got to try and get, first time ever, folks, Racer Nexus. We're going to have a bit of a duet. All right, so we're going to sing happy birthday on 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
birthday,
dear Stevie.
Happy birthday to you. Hip, hip.
Hooray!
Hip, hip.
Hooray!
R.I.P. headphone users.
Thanks, guys. That was great.
Have a good one, Terry. Thanks for joining us, and well done on the victory.
Thank you.
Oh, incredible stuff, Adam. And what a way to come racing here at Watkins Glen. A little bit of racing, a little bit of karaoke, and we get to have some incredible fun. But it's not done just as yet. We've still got plenty of racing action coming up here in the Pony Express. Plus, entries are open for our Season 3. So quickly start making your way down in the description for the Pony Express GT3 League and join up. You don't want to lose your spots, and you want to be a part of the amazing action here at the Pony Express. Next up, we head out to the Circuit of Americas next week, and it will be a great one, the 18th of the 5th. Then after that, we head to Autodrome Enzo e Dino Ferrari on the 25th of the 5th, and ending up at Road Atlanta at night, the 1st of the 6th. Every Monday, we get to have some fun. But, mate, it's been an incredible one. Adam, any final words from your side?
Man, hey, I appreciate the good call, and you really are a pro, my friend. I will gladly push the buttons while you talk to the fans, and I also appreciate the karaoke. And that's all I got, man. Just appreciate you allowing me to be in the booth with you.
Absolutely wonderful to have you in the booth. Adam Glatfeldt was your production and also co-coms. My name is Stephen Koenig. A big thank you to Apex Sim Racing and Track Cams Gourmet for any of your phenomenal track cams, from VR to just getting those amazing photos. Head over to Track cams for gourmets. That's what you see that we utilize here on Races Nexus. Big thank you to everyone at Pony Express. Folks, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon. Plenty of racing here on the Races Nexus. And like always, a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.